vengeance.
I love that every time. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 113 of the Super Civil Servants podcast. They still call me Greg, the Bat Daddy 52. Folks, we have a Doom Patrol Season 3 finale, and we finally have a Doom Force. We have Prodigy continuing to truck on with a strong episode, and Disney Plus Day has come and gone. What treats has it given us? Lots and lots of stuff to talk about, as well as 2 weeks from now, the latest rendition of The Death and Return of Superman will be able to be streaming, I think 1 p.m. Sunday, 2 weeks from now. Cam Newton is the Carolina Panthers quarterback again. So just had to put that out there. Got to put a little sports segment on this show because that's my guy. So happy for all Panthers fans. Keep pounding. Superman returns. Now let's talk about everything else. With me tonight, the usuals, my co-hosts, my homies. Sarah, what's up?
I'm still like the high of QB1 being back. So yes. Sorry, my my football self just like freaked out. So I'm like super excited just to see how that's gonna all play out. I've had a good week thus far, so that's just kind of like the cherry on top, honestly. So I'm kind of excited, and of course, get to chat with you fellas here on a Friday night. So couldn't be better. So let's just see what happens.
Have some fun. And yeah, like the Cam Newton thing has been occupying my mind a lot for the last good day or two. So really, really good news for
one track minded.
Yeah, I could say that. I could say that. You here and there, Ross? What's up, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Just having a good day. It's a Friday, end of the week.
Yeah. Well, I know you're not as excited about the Cam Newton news. You are a Panthers fan, but I know you're excited about Disney Plus. So at least there's going to be some fun stuff to talk about because I'm sure at least at some point in time, every time I hear or say the word Superman today, I'm going to think about Cam Newton and probably bring him up. So it'll come up again. Don't worry. We got plenty of Disney Plus to cover that up. So, well, Disney Plus was a big day today. So we got a lot to talk about with that. So why don't we go ahead and continue coverage of the final two shows? One winding down this week. The other one's still kind of revving up, but let's start with the shorter one. Let's start with Prodigy. And Sarah, I'm going to toss it to you. This week's episode. Well, give me your thoughts first, and then I'll put mine out there.
This show is like really it's crazy because it's you have a bunch of kids, and they're just out joyriding in this. You don't really know too much more about the ship yet, but it's just the relationship of the holographic Janeway with, especially Dal, and because this little fella, oh my gosh, he is. I don't want to stereotype little boys, little teenage boys, but he's just like, that's what I can kind of imagine the way my son's going to be when he hits about 15, 16. He's like, oh, we're gonna, I'm gonna go out and do what I want to. Nobody's gonna tell me, I have no. Like no rules to follow. We're just going to kind of, whatever. And then of course you introduce like a badass little toy for them to drive. And it's like, despite the fact of, okay, well, here's your tricorders, even the fun of the phaser, oh, it's the phaser. Oh, fantastic. No, they're going to throw all that shit to the side and be like, I'm going to drive that. And I'm just going to go and have a good time. So, I mean, that was kind of interesting. Looks like there's a little bit of a turnaround for Gwen. You kind of start, she's on her one-track mind for, getting back to the diviner, getting his shit back and all this kind of thing. But now you're starting to say, maybe she might be kind of turning the bend, as to speak. Especially the fact that, by the end of this episode, it's kind of a dire situation because, all right, is the ship, has it crashed? What is going on here?
It seemed like pretty confusing right there towards that end.
But that planet was really weird too. That planet was really weird. And
Mhm.
it really creeped me out when you saw Rock when she first walked out, and then you see these little things. I'm just like, oh God, no, I can't with that. No, it just made me think about those worms from what was it, Clone Wars? Was it Clone Wars? You remember that?
I'm sure there was an episode with worms in Clone Wars.
Oh, I was like,
There's always an
anything
episode
creepy
with
Lots of them.
crawly. That's
worms everywhere.
Lots of episodes.
Yeah, but it was really interesting, how this planet. Because number one, the first thing that kind of red flag was, okay, you have all this vegetation, but there's really no nutrients. There's no way to, that they knew of based on what the tricorder was showing them. So then, as it progressed, and they start seeing Nathan.
It keeps it nice
The
and
ambient
nice and
lighting.
They
dark.
were digging your Batman mood lighting, your Pattinson Batman mood lighting behind you. Yeah.
But I just
Sorry.
thought it was kind of cool that you're actually throwing them in a situation where if they were cadets, something that is Federation type procedure of, exploring an M-class planet, which I thought that was funny because Dow's like, M-class planet? No, we need an A-class planet.
Mm.
I sat there, I said, no, honey, M-class planet. That's what you want. But
And can I tell you something that's the best part about this show is I love the Calvin timeline Star Trek movies. I've never been very familiar with a lot of other Star Trek stuff, but some of it's pretty self-explanatory and some of it's kind of familiar just from knowing other stuff. I've dove more into the knowledge of this universe and this world, but this show is a perfect introduction for any kid who doesn't know anything about Star Trek, because episode 1 is here's the characters, learn who they are, you love them. Episode 2 is this is the Federation, this is who we are. Episode 3 is this is the Federation, this is what we do. Or excuse me, episode 3 and 4, because the first one was episode 1 and 2.
Right.
But the way they've walked you through this, like even me not being in like as big of a Star Trek fan, throughout my life, watching this, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. They're walking you through everything you need to know about Star Trek to really like Star Trek. Everything is explained for you. They lay everything out there. Translators, stun guns, holograms, the ships, everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I could definitely see them building a new generation of viewers with something like this.
Starting with the basics. I mean, this was the first episode that kind of really felt like more like a kid episode. I mean, they all feel like kid episodes, don't get me wrong. But this one right here was just kind of like, here, like, let's go on adventures. Like, this is going to be your week to week. Here's your weapon. Here's what you're going to do. I mean, like, I was totally cool with it. I mean, the show's not, geared towards me, but at the same time, like, I can see it picking people up. So it's doing its job.
Yeah.
It's starting to get into like more of like the Star Trek type thing where, you actually have missions, albeit it's, kind of on the beginner level.
Yeah.
But those tricorders, I was like, damn, you kind of had a step up on those. And I loved how it started because Dad was like, Captain's log, star date, I don't even know what it is, but I was like, okay, because a lot of episodes, that's how they're started. Traditionally you give the star date because that's when you start your log. So I think I'm really interested to see how it progresses, to see how much of, like the actual Federation, I guess you would say protocol, that they actually learn and start picking up because, technically they haven't gone through the academy. They're nowhere near it.
Oh yeah. Well, let's start breaking down the episode then. I mean, talking about that kind of stuff, that exact part right there. I have like 3 little things about this episode that I was like, well, that's it's a kid show, so I can excuse the bad writing for that. Like one, okay, they find this planet, it's a class M planet, and then that's for me where I learned that they classify planets, A through and alphabetically like that, A through M, and M is this. Okay, cool. I just learned that. That was a nice little learning moment for me. They talk about how they have to go explore it. Okay. And they have to document it because it's the job it's what the Federation does. Okay. And then they say, well, we're not going to do that. Well, okay, then we're going to send the Federation that you've not complied with this order. Okay. So that makes them do it. Right. But if you're going to go do it and you're going to report to the Federation anyway, aren't you just in the end going to be sending a report to the Federation? Either 1, that you disobeyed the order, or 2, what you found?
It kind of all depends on.
I don't know.
Because sometimes it's not like it's necessarily being transmitted at that time to like,
Okay, so
you know,
documented, not transmitted.
right.
perhaps.
So it's
Okay.
like you're creating logs, and at some point you will transmit those logs. So it's just I think that was just kind of Janeway saying, all right, well, if you're not gonna do it, we're gonna, that was just kind of I think that's just like the authority, like kind of kicking in and saying, okay, look, it was kind of a reason because you got a bunch of kids, she's thinking they're cadets. So it's like they've already been through the training of where this is what you do. If not, there's a consequence. So she kind of called their bluff on that, if it made any sense.
Oh, yeah. Does she really think they're cadets? I mean, does
Well,
she have the
if she's
ability to think? It seems like she does.
That was my question.
Yeah, but it all depends on how she's programmed. That's the thing about it. And I think that's another thing that's kind of taken a kind of a leeway with this program as well, because if you're familiar at all with Voyager, you have the Doctor, which he is a hologram, but he actually
He wears a uniform.
evolved.
He serves. Yeah, he serves like a.
Yeah, because when you first
like
meet
a
him, he's
purpose.
like, he's like, he was emergency, medical hologram at EMH. And then as everything progressed, he actually evolved to where it was almost like he was a sentient being. If that makes any sense.
He was like the Data of that show, whereas Data like evolved.
Yeah, exactly.
And Next Generation,
that's how you learned how the holograms worked in the ships, because the reason that Janeway couldn't leave the ship was because of the holo emitters, because if she left that, then she wouldn't have a signal. But as Voyager progressed, the Doctor actually ended up having a remote emitter. So that's how he was able to leave the ship.
Okay.
So, but I know with this show, it takes a lot of, it's not quite as...
It's kid show.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot
kids.
of it that just kind of take for granted, and it's like, okay, this is the way it is.
Right. Kids are not going to ask all the same kind of questions that like somebody really diving into it, or like we would diving into it,
Yeah.
Which raises another question. We're talking about Janeway right there with the hologram. You're telling me in all this technology, there's not technology enough to get a hologram into, which is a program, into the computer on any other ship? It's only available on the ship. Is that a Star Trek thing? Like, can you not have holograms anywhere else? It seems weird.
Using like you need a projector in order to project something.
As long as you have emitters throughout the ship, because that's what happened with Voyager. Because initially the Doctor was in sickbay. That was the only place he was. But then, as like I said, as his character progressed, then he was able to kind of move throughout. But then again, that had a lot to do with his, like I said, his mobile emitter.
Okay.
So
and like I said, little things, that I just pick up that, probably mean nothing. And the third one is Pog. Is that his name?
Yeah.
How does he smell through his helmet? Like, isn't the point of wearing the helmet so you're not breathing in what's out there because you don't know what it is, but you're smelling through your helmet? And I was like, that's interesting. Okay. Well, only thing I could chalk it up to was the smell itself was an illusion as well, because these worm things were projecting illusions that people didn't realize. He even said he tasted the food.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume if you can taste the food, smell is a huge part of taste. I imagine maybe the smell was, fake as well. So there you go. I just answered my own question.
So there you go.
Yeah, thought about I in the moment right there. So that was off the top of my head.
But I will
you just
say,
gotta talk it out, man. You just gotta talk it out.
That's right.
I will say the way this is progressing, I mean, this series does remind me of a lot of Voyager. It's just like I said, it's just because of Janeway and the relationships of, and I think I've already said this before, of all the different characters that have like kind of combined on Voyager, especially like 7 of 9. She brought her in, and throughout the episodes that she was in, throughout her storyline, it's almost like Janeway kind of took her through, not necessarily like the academy type training, but it was something along those lines too. So, I mean, to me, it seems it's very familiar. So I kind of see where it's going.
No, I'm with you on that. I mean, I definitely believe like it feels like it's already got feet in. It's just, like you said, it's weird. You got the kid, Stardate, whatever.
Yeah. It's a fun show. It's one of those ones. I don't know that after this season, if it's something I continue to pursue to watch. I mean, it's a fun little show and doesn't 20 minutes out of the day is not too bad, but it's definitely geared towards kids. It's a fun introduction to Star Trek. I think that I might jump into Discovery or something like that, a little more adult, just because I'm
Mm-hmm.
really enjoying the Star Trek ride. But yeah, I'd recommend it. Check it out if you got kids. Check it out. I mean, even if you don't got kids, it's still a fun little show. It's like I said, for somebody who's a newbie to Star Trek, this is a great introduction. Like it's walking you right in the direction of being
perfect for you right now at this moment, isn't it, Greg?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. But once again, 20-minute show, not a ton of talk about. Is there anything else you want to bring up about this one?
It's just interesting that it left on a cliffhanger. So I kind of like that, because now you're actually diving into a story instead of it just being like a continuation of an introduction.
Yeah, actually,
maybe they'll take the arc route. Maybe they'll, maybe they'll have a couple arcs throughout the season. I mean, it is easier to tell that story. Not to mention, it keeps kids wanting to come back and like continue to watch. You'd always remember what it'd be like. I mean, as an adult, you know what it's like. You get that cliffhanger, and you're like,
"Oh,
next week."
Yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, the cliffhanger is spoilers at the end. The ship's gone. It looks like it's been destroyed. Disappeared behind some cliffs. Never saw an explosion, but we're to assume that it's destroyed.
Maybe Janeway popped up and like turned the shields on, so at least that way it has some kind of protection.
Well, I don't really understand why it all of a sudden went into like self-destruct mode. The ship, why? What triggered it? It didn't look like it was under that much distress. That's one thing I've seen about Star Trek, and maybe I've just got to get a better idea of shields and starships, because in Star Wars, usually like an X-Wing, you get hit with a few blasters, a good shot, you're done. In Star Trek, it seems like ships take a lot of damage.
Yeah, they have more like massive shielding. So it's like you're here, it's like, oh, shields are at 40%. You're like, oh shit, you about to have a problem. Yeah. But the one thing about this ship, I'm like, how as far as scale wise, I'm like, this must be a teeny tiny ship, because you don't normally land it on a planet. You normally orbit and take like a shuttlecraft. So I'm thinking, okay, this one doesn't have a shuttlecraft.
Cartoons, baby, cartoons. And they do have shuttlecrafts because they can make whatever they want to.
But it's kind of interesting because there's because this ship just seems like it's a smaller version, because especially if you're looking at the cockpit, is it, that small to where, they do have, it's almost like it's almost like more of a bridge. Like, instead of a bridge, it's almost like a cockpit, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because normally, the large scales of these ships, and I'm hoping at some point they will talk about this ship a little bit more, give it a little bit more. I mean, I know it will down the line because of the engine, because it's got to come up at some point. So I'm hoping they don't drag that out too long. But it's just, what type class this ship is. And maybe at some point, unless I totally missed it, but I'm thinking at some point Janeway's going to have to tell them more about this ship.
Hey, so I did want to mention that brings up one more thing I want to talk about with this episode. There was one thing I didn't know if y'all caught. Like, the entire time, these little worms or weeds or whatever they are on the earth, they're making you see what you desire most. Did you notice what the little orb guy? I can't remember his name.
The engine. He went after the engine.
Yeah, he desired most the engine. I was like, that's interesting, because we've seen a couple of times where they've dropped the engine of this ship being an important thing, but nothing else about it.
Yeah,
I think it's maybe the second or third time they've done it. So, I see where they're going with this. I see.
Feels like Star Trek's been doing that, trying to get you to like change your mind on. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to do some underlying. You can't rely on crystals. Like, you can't rely on fossil fuels.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yep. Dilithium crystals. dilithium. You only can get at certain places.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with. I almost finished season 3, and so I'm right, kind of like in the thick of all that with Discovery. So,
okay.
Discovery comes up. That comes out
next week.
The 19th, 18th, 19th, one or the other.
18th, I think.
18th, yeah. Oh, that's next week. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Gosh, so much stuff. I'm telling you, like, I went to the movies for the first time yesterday with my kids in like 2 years. I just thought about it, like, going to the movies, and actually, I thought that if I went to the movies, I would be seeing Eternals, and I didn't. I actually went and saw the My Hero Academia movie, the English dub version of that, the latest one. And I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed it. Like, really enjoyed it, to the point that I bought like a My Hero Academia sweater, like hoodie, because I was like, oh, that's badass. I'm going to buy that. And I'm going to start this series. Like, that's something that I really, because my kids love it. They've read the books,
Mhm.
they've seen the shows, they've seen the movies, and this is the first time I've actually, maybe it was just being in the theater that I love so much. I'm not sure from so long, but I really enjoyed the movie. So I got so much stuff to catch up on, and I just added a whole nother list of stuff because I've got to start watching this. Between Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer and all the stuff that I've been watching, really starting to enjoy a lot of anime. And that Arcane on Netflix is something that I really, really want to watch too. So
I did end up watching that.
did you? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, we did them on Veterans Day on Thursday.
Because there's only 3 episodes out right now, right?
Yeah. So
Okay,
actually, because tomorrow 3 more drop, and then next Saturday the last 3 drop, which is pretty cool because they tell the story in like a real like act kind of way. But
okay, yeah, I definitely want to check that out, man. But just anime is becoming a bigger part of my life as far as just watching stuff because I'm starting to really, really enjoy it. But yeah, I'll catch up on Star Trek. I'll catch up on all this stuff. I'll find time. I'll make time. It'll happen. Watch. But
Well, Discovery is definitely on top of my list, so that's one that I'm no excuses.
that may be one that, quite honestly, I may need to just jump in when the new season starts and then like catch up on the other stuff after that. Like
I'll tell you, I mean, from what I can tell about season 3, everything relies on like a bunch of old knowledge, so they really love telling their story throughout the seasons.
No, so they make you watch the other ones. Damn it.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, well, I'll figure it out. All right, let's move off Star Trek. Let's go into Doom Force. Ross, get it started with some Doom Force. Yes, Doom Force. Season 3 finale.
Yeah. This was a men's patrol. I mean, this flagellation thing has done a real good job of like getting everyone to like bury themselves, but like they still can't work together while trying to figure it out. But gracious. I didn't think the finale was like super epic by any means, but I don't think it was going to be with all the stories that they had. I loved it. I mean, you put Cliff in that big robot, just have him run around. I mean, I thought the whole entire thing was hilarious. And at the very end, which I'm skipping ahead here, but they're doing the whole Doom Force thing, but they're sitting there and like, no one's going to label us. We're going to label ourselves. They literally end up labeling themselves, putting their names on their foreheads. But
yeah.
There's so many good parts of this. I love the show.
Yeah.
Can't wait for a whole another season.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, give me your thoughts real quick, just overall thoughts, and then I'll lay mine out there. We'll start breaking it down.
I really like this episode. I mean, I thought and even the previous one, I mean, it was, like I said, it was still outlandish, but I still felt like it was getting more to the heart of the story. Now, Rita has been a really interesting character over this season, because especially when they open up, the first scene you see is like her arm extended. And you're thinking, because you don't really see her do a lot of her bendy things. So, you see that to begin with. And then, of course, you see the crash bus and all this kind of stuff. You're thinking, oh, my God. And then, but like I said, that flatulation thing, I really like that idea of how that they were able to really reach inside themselves and try to figure out, okay, yes, we are screwed up. We do have our issues, but this is who we are. And this is where from point A to point B, especially how everybody has grown, even Cliff, bless his heart, goes from a small robot to the big robot. And like you said, Ross, I mean, that's just like perfect. I'm like, as big of a personality that he is, that just makes sense. And then, he takes over from Madame Rouge. He's just like, oh, I'm going to do this. And I mean, he's just like, it's like you're talking to a garbage can. I don't know. It's just crazy.
Reminds me of Beastie Boys, like the robot from the Beastie Boys video.
Yeah, exactly. And then also with the underground, that was really interesting as well. So it's like the fog has taken all the personalities and given them some sort of freedom, but yet if they're not connected to the underground, they just like crack and disintegrate.
Falling apart.
Yeah.
It's weird. So
it's kind of like if they're not back in like their hive nest, with like a weird mentality, then like they're going to fall apart because Kay's not going to need her. But I think it was, I mean, is the fog into Jane? Is that what I'm gathering? And like she wants Jane to come to her side that bad? And
that's what I was kind of feeling like when you first met him and she was sitting in that, the candy store. I'm thinking, getting some vibes over here. So,
Yeah. Jane's always an interesting character. It's always difficult to kind of understand her. Sometimes I feel like I really don't, and I probably don't, but no, I don't know, man. It's still fun to watch. Uh, okay, so season 3. I've not been, it's nobody likes the season finales of Titans ever so far. I've not been a big fan of the way season Doom Patrols ended. Well, at least last season, and I know that was COVID and everything. This season started out really good for me, and then it really started to lose me. Like I was just like, just don't know what I'm doing about this. And then it's drawn me back in the last 3 episodes. And quite honestly, I think that they did the finale fantastic. They had a finale without a fight, and it was done really
not
well.
anything like totally
Done
crazy.
really,
like,
really well. I mean, there were a few things that I have questions about that when we get into it, I'll break it down. But when I got done watching it, I was like, I really enjoyed that. I really like where they ended, and I really like where they're going. Basically, I feel like the way this season ended is the way most shows in like of a team up show end in season 1. Now the team's together. We have an objective. This is what we're doing. It took them 3 seasons to get to that point.
3 seasons.
Yep. 3 seasons to get to that point. But it feels like we're here now. And I'm sure next season they're gonna throw me for a loop and change things up, and it's gonna go crazy again because it's Doom Patrol. But this season really pulled me back in the last few episodes. It tied everything back together. It wrapped everything up in a nice little bow for me. And of all the finales so far, it's been my favorite. Like I had a really good time with this one.
Yeah, it's like you started at the beginning of the season, and then it just kind of went out like this, and you're thinking, "Whoa!" It's almost like you can't grasp it and pull it back in.
Right.
But then it just kind of just went right back here and had like a nice finish. And now when I go back and think about those other episodes, I'm thinking, okay, they do make sense now. So there was a method to the madness, because I don't think if you didn't have those, then this, penultimate and finale, I don't think would have made much sense.
Right. Every little thing tied back in.
Toward like the middle of the season, I basically said that the reason they're keeping my attention is because they're like so spread out and they're telling all these different stories.
That was just right up your alley, anyways.
I mean, they do a bunch of mental things, and I think, like you said, they had a finale with no fight, and that was basically a different way of what I was saying earlier. At the very end, you're just like, I mean, like nothing fantastic happened.
I kind of disagree with that, though. I wouldn't say it's like what you consider a typical fight, like the physicality of it. But I think it was more of a mental fight within each of them. So it's almost like this show, no matter how insane it is, it's very cerebral. I mean, it makes you think. I really enjoyed Jane's arc throughout this whole season, because to me, I think I felt like it gave more of an understanding of how the underground worked. Instead of just having all these, you have these personalities, everybody's fighting to be, the primary and to be, above and all this kind of thing. So you actually saw how they interacted more so, because in previous seasons, you would just kind of just see them pop up every now and again. Like you would see Hammerhead, you would see Polly, you would see, was it Baby Doll? Or, you would just see them. And you're just like, okay, well, how does this all interact? Because then it made me think, okay, what is actually going on in the underground? And so you started seeing that in season 2. Season 3, you really understood how they interact more so. Maybe, like they had more conflict unto themselves, because Kay became more of a, she wasn't just hidden in her room. She came to the forefront a lot more. So I really enjoyed how that whole story arc went, instead of just Cliff loving to death, instead of just his crazy interaction with Jane. And she's just, now, Greg, I know you love the part when Jane was in the robot and they were going back and forth.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that in a
He's
little
like,
bit.
I thought about you when I saw that.
Their back and forth is so great. Those two right there play off each other so well. Excuse me. So let's break down Jane a little bit more. I mean, we'll go ahead and start breaking down the episode. This one kind of leaves on a cliffhanger. With that, I feel like it's setting up for the next episode. And it seems like every year or every season so far, there's the storyline, then there's what's going on with Jane. Like it's like a separate storyline. That's not. It's like a B plot. to the whole thing. Like everybody else has a little bit of story too, but it's not like as in depth as Jane's. So
It's like
Jane
the
always has
underlying
the B
current
plot.
that it's there.
Right. So it feels like they're setting up for next season, like they have before with the big bad in this one, which is going to be the Doctor. So Jane's kind of giving up the position as primary, is to what I'm understanding, so that way that they can get back into the underground. She's sacrificing herself being the primary to save everyone, correct? Otherwise, the Doctor's willing to let everybody die just to not have to have the power.
Yeah, because she was like
You
straight
gotta do
power
something to
tripping.
get everyone back.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know, I mean, when you turn around and make a deal like that just in order to like save as much as you can.
well, we did see that we didn't actually see her do it in this episode. At the end, that's kind of how it leaves us hanging, is they sit down in the chair like you're about to, but we never actually saw it happen. And I think the last interaction we saw with Hammerhead, you kind of got that feeling of,
Oh yeah, Hammerhead. She's like she zeroed in on that real quick because she's like, "What have you done?"
We've got your back type deal as well. Once again, I don't know how the rules are in the underground. They've kind of given us a lot of extensive stuff down there, but it's always something different. It's always something crazy. Obviously somebody's going to get back because there's going to be the personalities there, because I feel like that's one of the things you can't ever get rid of with Jane, because that is Jane, the character. If you don't have all the personalities, then it's not Crazy Jane, so we'll see what happens with
have
that.
so many.
I have a question about Larry with the worm, or the larva, or the whatever it is. It gets
They called
injured.
it a worm.
They called it a worm? Okay. It gets
Larva.
injured, right? Yeah, yeah. We know what I'm talking about. The glowing worm. Looks like what was those
glowworm?
Yeah, the glowworms. That was their call. We used to have when we were kids. Glowworms. I love one of those. So it can't bond with him because his bandages are too strong, right? Yeah. But it's radioactive, so it's going to bond with Cyborg long enough for him to get back to the house, to Larry's room, and then instantly jump out and jump into Larry as soon as he opens up just a small portion of his bandages. Why couldn't everybody else just go like 100 yards away and Larry open up his bandages, like that little bitty portion, and the thing jump right in and bam, done? Why did Cyborg have to sacrifice his life for that?
Because then you wouldn't get the payoff.
Yeah, that's true. I get that. It seemed a little contrived. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Well, and to think about Cyborg, because technically, I mean, is he really Cyborg anymore?
He's going to be somehow.
He's got it on the inside.
But that's the thing about it. It's like that was kind of showcasing. All right, well, I'm not just an ordinary guy now. Because remember, who was it? Was it Madame Rouge? When she came back through, she's like, "Oh, you're just like the normal guy."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he was
just in the tracksuit.
Yeah, exactly.
That was an awesome scene. And let me tell you something. That was actually the smartest thing, because I was thinking about it too when she was in there. I love how when you get in the time machine, there's the narrator, and they can actually interact with the narrator, which is even cooler. But I was wondering, I was like, where the hell is she going to go? That's going to make sense. And they got me. They did it perfect. She basically just went to now, I guess, a few minutes in the future, and wrote herself a note, which is perfect, because I thought about that earlier. I was like, why wouldn't you just write yourself a note every time? And I guess now it's why at the end they have the name tags on their head.
The labels, so they are.
Because now they're the time traveling Doom Force. I guess you would call it. So that's crazy. But yeah, great idea. Writing yourself a note. I like that. Let's talk about Cliff.
Very detailed note. Very, very detailed.
And that's what you should do, right? If you're going to lose your entire memory, you write yourself an entire note about where you're there, what you're doing, everything about it, so you don't totally forget. Cliff in the big robot. Okay, so you're right. The scene with him and Jane is pretty cool. I loved his comment of talking about how he's never had this many people inside him except for that one night, maybe at the and I was like, oh, there you go. It's pretty funny. So Jane's in there and she's pulling all kinds of levers, right? And she pulls the self-destruct lever. Okay, so they're gonna blow up, and for some reason they're walking towards a little league game. Don't know why. Never gave you a reason for that. They're just walking towards Little League game. They decide they're going to destroy a Little League game and blah, blah. No idea what happened, but it was funny. Okay, so when they get to this said Little League game, right before he gets to it, and the self-destruct is on a timer. It's not like a proximity mine. But Rita Gross, large, stops him, and the bomb just stops. Like, what did they do to stop the bomb? They didn't do anything but stop walking. Like I was like, what happened? How did the bomb stop?
Maybe him stop. Maybe him no movement. Maybe that stopped it.
I don't know.
So him walking was because of the whole brain thing.
Mhm.
And so, like, he wasn't able to control himself, so his brain was just continually going forward because that's like how he started. I think they did say that only once, but
I
I
could have
mean,
missed it.
to your
Yeah.
point, maybe they just literally needed to stop him.
Yeah, because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, wait a second, did they explain how the bomb stopped? Because you stopped him
Yeah.
with like 9 seconds left or whatever on the clock.
Well,
But
let me ask you this: the robot itself, because when you first see Madame Rouge, so she's strapped to this gurney in the middle of nowhere at the top of this, looks like a drop off. And then, okay, I don't know how many jars you guys have ever dropped. But if there's a big jar like that and it rolls off like to that far down the ground, you would heard this big crash.
Mhm.
And then she happens to look over the side and I saw something. I guess it's like the claws of this robot. So I'm thinking, what is this thing just laying at the bottom of this ravine?
I did like that
What?
there was trash at the bottom where they said that they dumped all their trash.
I know,
Yeah.
but I
At least
was
they-
like, what the hell? And then
Yeah.
you see this robot, you're thinking, okay, there's the outlandishness that we just all know and love.
so much.
Yeah, this show definitely gives it to you. I'm trying to think. What's the gorilla's name?
I can't think of his name.
His
I wanna
name
say
is
like Mala or something like that.
yes, Mala.
Mala, yeah.
M-A-L-A.
He's coming back, right? That's gonna be
I
a
don't
return
know.
character, I think. Did he just straight up
Because-
retire? He left everything there, just straight up retired.
Because is the
I'll
brain
find out.
coming back?
If you're done, you're done. He looked like he
Yeah.
was pretty much done with the brain shit.
I think the brain is done, and that really surprised me. Like I did not think that Reedy was going to just pour boiling water on top of the brain, which he kind of had that coming.
No.
I mean, besides the
did.
fact of what he's doing, like you're just going to trust her just to take your like lid of your thing off, the only place you're exposed. Like you're just going to sit there. Like, come on, man. I saw that coming from a mile away. You're a robot. Be smart. I know you don't have
Yep.
legs, but at that point, but come on.
I mean, they call you the brain. I mean,
Right. Act like
Why
it.
didn't you think of that?
Act your age, buddy.
but I
I'm
can't
saying.
quite understand how that works anyways, because I'm thinking the brain is one of the organs of the body where you don't want it to have it exposed at any form or fashion. And they're
Not
just like,
only
it's
that,
just like
but it
in
needs
this, like,
energy.
Don't
But it's-
you dare bring logic into this.
it's
Right.
in this metal like container, and you just pull a metal lid off of it, and it's just right there, just
Yeah.
for everybody to see. And then, of course, Cliff's brain is like in a jar.
And
At least it has a little liquid to slosh around in. So
I think they make that look really fake on purpose to be funny, to be truly honest with you. Because I was looking at it and I was like, that looks really, really fake. I was like, they have to do that
I
on
mean-
purpose.
It looked like it was a little big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm sure they did that on purpose. Like, yeah, it's too.
let me ask you fellas this. When you saw the jar with Cliff's brain, I'm thinking, I'm waiting for it to talk. I was literally waiting for it to talk.
Somehow,
he's-
I
What
could
are
just hear him saying, you
will
know,
it?
what the, you know, that kind of
Yep.
thing.
Well, apparently he like his brain, like he can think while it's just in a jar, because he mentioned that he didn't have any kind of ability to talk to do anything, but he could still think when he had his epiphany. It is funny you mentioned that jar falling down the cliff scene though, because the subtitles on, and every time you would hear the ding of the jar falling down and hitting the glass, it would say glass cracking, glass cracking, glass cracking. And I was like, yeah, that's the way it would be. That's exactly the way it would be. But yeah, time traveling Doom Patrol, Doom Force. All right. What did y'all think of Larry? Like the new Larry?
You talking about Casper?
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically, we've never
thought it
seen
was
that
great that
before,
he came
right?
out
Where
and
he's-
bombed.
He
Yeah.
came all flitting out and then he just falls.
Mhm.
Did
It's
absolutely
like,
nothing.
what is going on here? So is that like a baby negative spirit?
I mean, you gotta
That's what
imagine.
I'm
Because
so
this
somehow.
sure looked like
Yeah.
the negative spirit.
Yeah, that's what I'm, a smaller version. Yes, that's what
Feels
I'm
like a
thinking. It's a
baby.
baby negative spirit.
Mhm.
And Cliff, or not Cliff, Cyborg even said, I just had a baby. So, give him a little time. I mean, yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Baby negative spirit. He made a vow to it by his
I
choice.
did
is what
love-
he wanted.
I love the comment when she said, "Bitch, you turned into a killer baby." So yeah, Jane, dude, I could just keep going on.
She's like, was I so bad?
Mhm.
Imagine what this show would be like without Jane and Cliff Steele. It would be a completely different show. Not saying that the other actors in there aren't great, but they're for me the ones who make the show. It's always their interaction that I'm the most interested to see. You know,
and like I said with Rita, I was glad to see where she actually used her stretching ability because damn, she didn't reach out and chuck a bitch. I mean,
forced choke with the rubber hands. So, do y'all think that Madame Rouge is going to be a main character next season? Is she part of the Doom Force now?
I kind of hope so.
You liked her?
I got to where I liked her because I mean she was. I don't know. She kind of played, both sides, which I mean, I kind of understand, but she was just such, I don't know. I just enjoyed her character. I don't know why. Maybe it's just evil in me or something. I don't know.
She was good when she was in the middle. Like if she was too hippy dippy versus like too, strict and like everyone's a weapon. Like those two extremes are not cool. But I mean, like when she's in the middle, like her character is very likable. So I don't know what capacity. Maybe they'll bring her on for an episode. Who knows? But maybe she'll go all season and be like the head of the Doom Patrol.
Maybe like take like Niles' place. Maybe kind of like that type character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they definitely in this episode especially pounded on the fact of her kind of wanting to turn the corner and change her ways. With time travel and notes, and her saying it numerous times. It looking like she's being part of the team, not quite trusted yet. I mean, I could deal with her being a regular or a part of the team. I guess for me, it's just kind of personal with her because she looks like my ex stepmom, Ross. I don't know if you remember Joyce, and I don't like that woman. So it's just like it bothers me looking at her. I'm like, I don't like that woman. So for me, it's always been like that. But the actress does a good job, and I think she plays a better good guy than bad guy. To be truly honest with you.
But she does play a good bad guy, though.
She does play a good bad guy.
I do like the deviousness. Yeah. I do like that. So I don't know.
And I'm not going to lie. I thought 100% when they started talking about time travel at the end of this, and she was talking about where to go and what to do and how it couldn't change this, couldn't change that, and this would still happen, that would still happen. I was like, this right here is how they bring Niles Calder back at the end of the episode for next season. I was like, this is how they do it. This whole season was about Niles Calder without him in it. They're going to bring it back. I was like, oh, this is how they're going to do it right here. I was calling it. I was like, yep, this is it. But nope, didn't happen. I was wrong about that. So, but they are time
you got a big nut sack.
They can still do it. Time travel, yeah.
See, they just couldn't help themselves.
No, that's a big nut sack with demon pubes.
He said it looks a lot less scrotal in black and white. That's what he said. Doom Patrol, man, it's a fun show. It's through season 3. I'll continue through season 4 because
So let me ask you this. So basically, the time machine, it's going to burrow through the ground again, and how the hell it works, and then this big ass robot that's just attached to it that just right through the ground too.
Yeah, and they're going 3 minutes into the future, is what they said.
Yeah,
or 3 minutes into the past.
I can't remember. No, it would be past.
Yeah, because they're trying to stop whatever.
Because they want to go 3 minutes before the event happened.
Yeah, so they can stop it, and they're gonna and they have name tag or taped their
their names on
tapes on their forehead with their names on it, so they can remember who they are. But nothing else. But
I'm wondering, what about to stare? Who's going to stare in whose eyes? That's going to know what's going on. Kind of like what Rita did with.
They did have the big sign, or whatever, where they're like making all the rules. So they did a little something.
It's
That's true. I forgot about that. Cyborg was making the sign. Yeah, which he has amazing penmanship. Goodness
season
gracious.
4, episode 1 is just going to be a big old cluster because they're going to probably try to remember who the hell they are.
Yeah,
good point. So we're gonna deal with my favorite subject next season: fucking time travel. And you know what? It's gonna be funny. I bet you. Yeah. What's gonna be funny? I bet you Doom Patrol is gonna make the most sense of any of it for me. I'm gonna be like, okay, that's believable. Because so far, adding amnesia into the time travel recipe,
does it make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense if it it's like it gives me less questions to ask. I'm like, well, okay, they don't know, they forgot. I got you. That adds a little twist to it. So
and it's one of those questions like, if you could time travel, would you, knowing that you lose your memories,
all memories? No family, no friends, no nothing. All I know is
that's what happened to Rita. What happened to both of them? I mean,
It
Yeah.
slowly comes back a little bit, but clearly not
You
perfect.
basically just speak and think logically, right? Survive.
Yeah.
Not unless you get choked out and somebody's like staring in your eyes and said, "You will remember."
I mean, I don't think I could. I mean, there's some cool times I'd like to travel to, but the follow-up question would be, would you be able to travel back? Or after is it a one-time thing? Like you're going one shot to one point in time. That's it. Never
Well, if I was
going
going to go,
anywhere
I wouldn't
else.
want to come back. I'm not going to lie. If there was a point in time that I wanted to go back to, I wouldn't want to come back. I'm like, I'm just going to go back here, and we're just going to go move forward.
What point in time would I want to go
That's
back
interesting.
to? Wow, that is a good question, man. Did y'all ever see what's the man? What was the show? It was a time travel television show. A couple of years ago. I think it went through like 2 seasons, and I really enjoyed what I saw of it. Golly, I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of those situations where a time machine had been heisted, and they were using the backup time machine and chasing this guy through time. Pretty fun show. Damn, I wish I could remember the name
It
of it.
sounds familiar, but I can't think of it. I don't know if it's anything I watched, but the premise sounds familiar.
I feel like I've seen it around. I watched that Revolution show like forever ago, like where they lose all power and everything. And every time I search for that show, what you are describing sounds like it comes up, like
Yeah.
one of those like Warehouse 13 shows or something.
I'm gonna look it up right now while we're talking. But yeah, you got anything else you want to say about Doom Patrol? It got me hooked for season 4. Are we gonna see Niles Calder ever again? Is he done for good?
I don't know what
I think it's time to move on. Honestly, now I'm not saying he wouldn't pop up, because if you're starting to deal with the time travel shit, you never know what's going to happen.
Things get weird.
Well,
I don't know.
Go fly off the rails real quick.
Also, this show is connected with Titans, correct?
I mean, it is supposed to be in the same universe, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't know where they could go in the future.
Comically speaking, to be fun. I mean, yeah, you're right. Who knows what they could do, as long as they don't CW it.
Yeah, that's the only thing, is they could CW it. I don't know if I want them to do that, but dang it, why can't I find? Oh, Timeless is the name of the show.
Yeah.
Yes,
I've heard of that.
On Netflix now or something.
I've
It's
heard of it.
2 seasons. I'm not sure what it's on right now. Let's see. I bet it'll tell me if I click on
Was
it.
it like on NBC or something? It sounds like it would have
I
been
think
like
it
an
was.
NBC
Yeah, it was
show.
on one of those mainstream networks. Really good show though. It was a 2016 show. That's why it's so long ago I couldn't remember it. But yeah, check that out. It's pretty fun. All right, cool. Well, anything else, Doom Patrol? Do y'all want to hop on to the big bad for the day, Disney Plus? The mouse wields his gauntlet again. I mean, he's out there. He's got it. Ross, you're the one who's got your finger on the pulse of this stuff. You're the MCU guy. Not that we all don't love it, but I know you're an MCU family. You're an MCU house. You're definitely more in touch with this stuff than I am. A lot of times you break news to me about this kind of stuff. Let's talk about some Disney Plus Day stuff. How impressed you were with it? Anything new you learned, and then we'll just kind of break down, everything panel by panel, I guess you'd say.
Well, there wasn't really any panels. I mean, I guess there was some sort of whatever inside information, but all most people saw was the trailers pop up onto like Twitter. Right. There's nowhere to go. Like,
yeah, it wasn't like a DC fandom where you actually have like a one.
They screwed the pooch on that, and I mean, like, because their information came out that they were like thinking to try to get 10 million new subscribers last quarter, and they only ended up getting 2. So, I mean, like, the earnings statements and everything are real low for the stocks and everything else. I'm like, why wouldn't you, show your hand a little, make it like to where, the people that actually do have and are subscribed to it could actually watch it like on the app. I mean, there wasn't really anything that came out. I mean, there wasn't anything like good pattern that they put on for it to come out.
Right.
We did get trailers, and for someone who knows most of all of like the Marvel stuff coming out, I mean, I knew about a good like I don't know, 80%.
Yeah,
of the stuff that they're talking about.
And perhaps that's why they didn't do something like that. Like, I agree with you. It makes more sense. I love the way DC does that with fandom and everything else they put out there. When you have a lot of news to roll out, you make it an event, something you can go into and watch, like a movie, or like an award show. You're going in to watch what's coming up. Maybe because there's not a lot of stuff they have that's brand new, or like you said, about 80% of the stuff. maybe they just felt like it wasn't worth putting forth that effort, even though it seems kind of lazy of the mouse, seeing as how he's probably the richest rodent in the world ever. Like, how hard is it
Seems
to
like
just
the
to throw something
timeline's
together?
off.
Yeah, how hard is it to get
Like-
Justin Timberlake and some other fan
Seacrest
crazy
lookalike.
kid? No, yeah, throw in there, and have them host a 2-hour preview of, hey, here's what we're doing. I feel like that would have been much more productive.
I mean, Star Trek did it with Paramount Plus, and I mean the people they chose weren't fantastic, but it was at least something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to see a better platform. I mean, I wasn't really waiting around for it all to come out anyway, but I mean, I'll run through like a bunch of it. Well, starting off like early in the week, they Anthony Russo, sorry, blinked on his name. He came out with his little video talking about they're going to do the IMAX experience. So now, it changes like a different dimension of like how you are watching all of these things.
Right.
And it takes all that IMAX ratio and puts it on your TV. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. I mean, all I know is that when you go to IMAX at the theater, you're going to pay about another $10 for a movie ticket. But apparently most of their stuff now is going to be in the IMAX, like all like the Marvel movies and stuff. I mean, they've even redone Iron Man to be full IMAX viewable. The teasers that we got today, we got one for Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Miss Marvel. I don't know if you guys watched all 3 of those.
I saw 2 of them.
I think like the best thing about it is that it just told a little bit. Because I'll tell you right now, did anyone watch that Ghostbusters trailer from earlier this week?
I did. Not paying as close attention as I should have. I need to rewatch it.
Well, it felt like it did a pretty poor job of like giving the movie away. And I think that whenever you do that, like it ends up being like a real big issue, because now I'm like, oh, I wanted to see it, but now I know so much about it.
Right.
I don't know
They
how much more I
doomsdayed
want to know. Yeah.
Right. I love that movie, but they doomsdayed it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get a chance to watch any of the trailers. I was very surprised. I was working today, and day after holiday, my job, it's just been an insanely busy day. So I got to see, or not see, but like when stories come out, I'd look at it briefly. I didn't get to watch or read about a lot of stuff till I got home. I was really surprised when I got home. I was like, oh, I'll just go to Disney Plus app, and I'm sure that it'll have stuff on there about Disney Plus Day. Nothing. Nope. I didn't see nothing.
I mean, there's some stuff on there on Disney Plus. I mean, there was a few things that you could see, but I mean, it wasn't like it was it was under like one little category, but it just had everything just kind of laid out. But
right.
It
wasn't a show.
Yeah. I mean, it was just basically the same thing they showed. So I mean, why couldn't they, use Disney Plus, the actual platform itself, to, show it? Because now everything is kind of like after the fact. I don't know if they think Twitter is the best way to just kind of like pop things up during the day. Maybe, a way they can have people gravitate towards Disney Plus. If you're not, a subscriber yet, maybe it's like, okay, well, we'll look at this now. I don't know. I mean, you would think it would be something bigger than what it was.
They were offering 1 month, which expires on the 14th, for $1.99. So you get Disney Plus for $1.99 for your first month. And so if you're going to try to bring people in, I mean, that's a fantastic scenario to start with.
Very true.
Put it right there on your platform, $1.99. You want to see it? Come see it. I mean, it's going to be on. Here's the problem, is that it felt like you need to go and find it versus where most people just want to drop it in your lap so you see it and you're happy with it and you want to go see it.
Exactly.
So,
all right. So I'm watching this trailer for the first time as we're sitting here talking about. I'm sorry. I'm watching the She-Hulk trailer since we're getting out of stuff.
I like that one. I like that.
Really impressed with what's going on with it. Is that Charlie Cox I see at the end of it?
Where?
She-Hulk trailer?
Yeah.
No.
I
don't know.
Hold on.
I've only seen these things once in Superfast.
Hold on.
Oh, you're talking at the very end? Looks like the dude with the chops.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like Banner.
I thought it was Ruffalo. I know Brian and I were talking about the same thing too. I was like, who was that? I'm like, that's Mark Ruffalo. No, it's not. It can't be. Why
No,
not?
Mark Ruffalo is definitely in this, but hold on one second.
It looked like they took the two of them and decked them out like in the old She-Hulk, like costumery, whatever.
Hold on. We're gonna figure this out right here. Let's see.
I'm gonna ask the internet.
Okay. So y'all see this. There's Ruffalo, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely Mark Ruffalo. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hold on now. Is that Charlie Cox?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. This one I saw it and I was like, wait a second. I'm not as in tune to this, but I maybe I've heard about it, I'm sure, but I forgot or didn't realize that he was in this series, which is awesome.
I've been so busy today, like I said, I've only seen these things once.
Cool deal. Hey, I got one right. Look at that. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick, just because it's the one I started watching. She-Hulk. Impressed? Y'all excited for the show?
I was excited about when I heard about it. I thought it was pretty, interesting because the character is she's different than, the Hulk that you're used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But now since you're Professor Hulk, I don't know, but I just think it's a great premise. I mean, I've always thought it was a great character anyways. She-Hulk's always been up there for me, so.
I don't know anything about the character other than base knowledge of, the character herself, but I've never read a lot of comics with her in it. She's not been, a big focal point of somebody that I've studied. It's interesting so it's kind of like learning a new character for me. It'll be really interesting to see. I was worried about how they were going to do with the look, but, they've done a really good job with Mark Ruffalo and the look of him. So I'm sure they'll do a good job with this because they're putting movie quality production into these shows. So I'm not too worried about that.
That they show his face, then they have Smart Hulk. I mean, there's so much. I mean, this show can go so many places. And I mean, who knows? Maybe it's tying into the whole weird multiverse, So
I'm sure it's going to be tying into the whole multiverse. Yeah.
I think one thing that's interesting, actually, it was old news, but I've heard that they're coming out with a new Hulk movie. I haven't watched or listened to anything, but apparently, like, Universal was kind of like, I don't know if they were stepping out of the way or Marvel took the rights or whatever the story was, but they're like, we're going to make a new Hulk movie. And apparently it's supposed to be the World War Hulk storyline.
Really?
And I actually heard that, and they're going to do Boondock Saints 3. I didn't know if you guys watched any of the Boondock Saints movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, man, I didn't read these anywhere. And so it was really weird seeing the She-Hulk trailer, seeing him in it, and also knowing that, like, that we're not done with that character. Like, that character's just going to keep coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're done with the Hulk by any means. It'd be interesting to see what happens with it. Maybe, I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on with Universal and Hulk. And I know that's the reason why we haven't had an independent Hulk movie is because of the who owns the name and everything else and not wanting to play ball. Maybe they see what's going on with Sony and Marvel and they're like, hey, I want some of this money too. Because it makes sense, right? Why can't we work together and make more money together? It just makes total sense. We're not going to give you the total rights to it, but hey, let's make a movie together and make some money together. I don't know. To me, if Elon Musk came and said he wanted to invest in something with me, I'd pretty much sell my house and invest in whatever he wanted to. I mean, why wouldn't you? Right? So I hope they do something like that. It'd be really cool to see. I like Hulk as a character. Once again, it's not somebody that I've done a lot of reading on in my life. I know the character has a base, Avengers reading and stuff like that. But
Hulk's big, man. Hulk is big.
Hulk is big. He is big. So, what's the next trailer, man? You said there was a Moon Knight trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You get the Moon Knight. Well, yeah, it's a real quick blip. All these are real quick. I mean, they are straight up teaser right. trailers. Literally just glimpses of like showing you the character and like which I mean we've seen the Moon Knight pictures way back when.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I don't know,
like 2 minutes long. It's borderline trailer.
Yeah, but what you're actually getting out of it is, well, you gotta listen to it.
Maybe 50 seconds of actual. Yeah, that's the disadvantage. I'm not listening to it while I'm doing this. I don't feel like getting shut down. But yeah, I'll watch them for sure.
That one and Miss Marvel was the other one.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Moon Knight ones. What I'm watching right now. What do you think about it, man? Are you excited about Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight?
I like him as an actor, so I'm going to pretty much watch whatever he's done. I mean, he hasn't really done much that I haven't been unhappy with. He's made a bunch of stuff. I mean, like that dude's sheet is long with like the titles that he's been doing. So I can definitely say that I'm not like real big on knowing a whole lot about Moon Knight, but I'm totally interested in watching it.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Moon Knight either. From what I've heard people describe him as, it's Marvel's Batman. From what I've heard him describe, but it's just, I mean, and not like, verbatim. It's not like a Deadpool Deathstroke type situation or a Thanos Darkseid death situation. It's a character very similar, a rich guy who, has this identity complex, and it'll be interesting. Like I said, I like Oscar Isaac, I like Disney, and I like Marvel. So it's three things I like. Put them all together. I'm sure, I'll eat it.
It can't be a bad combination.
Yeah, it can't be a bad combination. I don't see it being bad. So trailer looks good. Once again, teaser, not really trailer, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, they haven't really disappointed me yet. Still yet to see Eternals, and everybody's raving about the horrible Rotten Tomato scores of that, which they can kiss my ass. I don't care. I'm sure it's still, the jury's still out on that one.
Just heard it was pretty dense. Like it took up, like it was really heavy, like with everything, trying to tell like a real big story. So
that's kind of the. Go ahead, sir.
I liked it. If you're talking about Eternals, I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's kind of the vibe I get from the people that say they don't like it.
But it was a different type story. I mean, it wasn't like your typical the MCU that we're used to. It was something totally different. At least I thought that's what I took away from it. And yeah, there were some parts that were kind of a little heavier than others, but I mean, that was, think about a story that's, thousands of years old, all that kind of thing, because they did pull in a lot of mythology, which, I mean, that's my thing too. So I thought that was pretty cool, but that's my 2 cents worth.
Well, all the negative stuff I've heard about it so far is, like I said, it's just too much in one movie, like too much stuff put together in one movie. Maybe it could be.
I haven't really heard that in a bad way. I will say that.
If it's done well, that doesn't bother me. I don't mind long movies, and I don't mind movies that have a lot of stuff packed in, as long as the stuff packed in there is done well. Like, I don't want a lot of stuff packed in that's a lot of filler that doesn't need to be in there. I'm just like, I don't care about this. So I mean, I'll see it eventually. I went to the theater and it was a good time. It wasn't packed. I'd say it was about half full for an animated English dub movie. That's pretty good on a Thursday night. I think that's pretty decent. So seems like people are going back to theaters, at least where I'm at. So. All right, next trailer or teaser. Which one was it?
Just real quick, Miss Marvel one.
Miss Marvel.
It just shows. Actually, I don't even know if it shows the picture of her.
I saw
there's a picture of her in her costume rolling around. So if you saw it, then I mean that's pretty much all I saw.
Okay, yeah, as I said, I saw the picture of her in the costume just briefly, but that was about it. So yeah, and you're right. This is not really. It's a minute 15-second. Kind of talk about. It's not really a teaser. I guess it kind of is. But... Are y'all interested in Miss Marvel? I mean, once again, it's something. It's Marvel. It's Disney. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'll judge it whenever I see it. It's not a character that I've ever been drawn to read or learn about, but it doesn't mean it's a character that I can't like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're. Each of these things seem to have like a theme, and I don't know what the theme for Miss Marvel is. But like you said, I'm totally gonna watch it. I mean. If I'll die on the hill of like all the connective tissue, like that's what really keeps me together. So like I'm gonna sit there and watch, like just take it all in. So
well, I mean, the question is, do they really have that much that they can actually show? Because production wise, other than like a teaser. I mean, I'm not quite sure how far they are. Some of these things are in production.
When the show comes out, I'll watch it.
Yeah, pretty much.
My thing is just trying to figure out how this is all going to tie together into the Marvel universe, and I think for me, I've got to get myself out of the mindset of tying together like the Infinity Saga did. Like, you can have an entire universe and it tie together without it all tying into like one huge storyline. And what it kind of reminds me of is, for instance, I went and watched the My Hero Academia movie last night, and there's a ton of characters. It's a world situation in this movie, and you see different characters from each world, and I've watched a little bit of it with my kids, so I recognize these characters. I'm like, oh well, that's a main character and that's a main character, but they only have like 4 minutes of screen time. And then I realized that I'm like, My Hero Academia is like X-Men anime, and that's kind of what hopefully when they include the X-Men they'll do. Marvel is kind of doing, where you can have so many characters that you can just have little stories here and little stories here and little stories here, and maybe bring a few of them together for a major story, but the whole universe doesn't have to come together for one big battle. And maybe that's where they're going with it. And I'm totally fine with that because you don't have to have that 23 movie going just because I got to be honest with you, man. I don't know if I could go through that again.
that's
I
a big
really don't,
commitment.
man. I say that, but if they gave it to me, I'd take it.
Yeah.
It's a
Like, I
devoted
would
watch.
definitely take it. So
No, but I think that you're totally right. I mean, when you have to tell, if you tell stories that revolve too closely around each other, you're going to run that part ragged. So, I mean, like two things. One, I think they did a good job giving each of these like some sort of connection to something. And for Miss Marvel, it's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is like the influence and probably is going to be in the, we know that she's going to be in the show, but I don't know to exact like what capacity she's going to be.
right.
But each of these shows has kind of done it. And to your other point, where they were all like X-Men, you're getting X-Men back. You're getting the wonderful
yes. Let's talk about that one.
90s version. So you're getting X-Men 97 animated.
The best
And they
version.
said it's picking up right where the original one left off.
Because the original one was 92 to 97. This one's picking up exactly at the end of that, right? Okay, I don't know for sure if Travis has covered that on Superhero Discussions, but if you haven't seen that show, go watch it and listen to him cover that because it's great. Because I'm sure if he has covered, it's fantastic. If not, I might talk to him about covering that. This is my X-Men. This is where I learned the X-Men. This is what I grew up with as X-Men. This is the Gold Strike Force, Blue Strike Force years. This is the X-Men that I know and love. And I saw this, and I am so fucking excited for it.
Yep.
Like, so excited.
That's my version of the Sentinel, like with all like the movies and stuff that they come out with, how they always have like a different version of something, how we always compare it. I mean, that's my Sentinel. Like, that's the one I grew up with, them always trying to beat and blow up those Sentinels.
Yes. Yeah. This series, much like the Spider-Man series when I was younger, which is funny because these two series cross over, just will always forever be etched in my head to the point where I've, as an adult, recently watched the Spider-Man whole entire series over again just because it's that damn good. Those are my superheroes. Those are the ones that I watch in the morning before I went to school or in the afternoon when I got home. Like, those are the shows right there.
And Saturday morning.
And Saturday mornings.
And Saturday morning. Because if you missed it, you missed it.
That's right. That's right. Because back then, you couldn't just stream it whenever you wanted to.
No.
You didn't have a blank tape and a spot to record it. You weren't going to watch it. Did you have to either check the TV guide or watch the preview channel? Y'all remember the preview channel? Kids, I wish my kids had the agony of having to sit through the preview channel, especially when there were like 95 channels and you're trying to find out what's on channel 76 at 10 o'clock and it's 9. Good luck.
I thought it was a major upgrade, like for the later hours of the night. Instead of just cycling through 3 shows, they would just keep it steadily rotating. I was like, that's an upgrade. That means you don't have to sit there that whole entire time and wait for it to go 3 by 3 by 3.
Mm-hmm. I wish he had to go back to the TV guide because I'm telling you right now, it would drive him insane. Oh my God.
I remember
this isn't what they said was going to be on.
I remember looking up showtimes in the newspaper for stuff.
Oh, like for the movies? It's like, if you want to go to the movies, you pull the paper out. That's what you did.
I'm trying to think. TV Guide really messed up, or the preview channel, really messed up whenever they started adding ads to it. Like it would, before it was like the whole screen was a preview. It was like the guide and it would scroll, and then they went to like the half screen was like ads and stuff, and it was 3 and they would do the 3, then it started doing like shows and stuff on there. And it's like now you turn not now, but you get to the point where you turn the preview channel on, you're not watching what's coming on, you're watching what they put on in front of you. So you find yourself watching the preview channel for like 45 minutes trying to figure out what you're going to watch in an hour. It was
what's even better is when flat screen TVs first came out and people never reset their resolution. So like everything was like the words were like this big on the screen.
Can't say.
But anyway, yeah. Oh no, I've seen it. Some people, older folk, don't know exactly which buttons to press.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll move on. We know that we're getting What If season 2.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting Marvel Zombies. That's going to be animated.
My favorite.
You don't like zombies, so.
Yeah.
I'm getting more into zombies. I'm not gonna lie. Like everything I've watched with zombies of the last few things. Let's see, I Am Legend, Walking Dead. What's the the most recent Zack Snyder movie that just came out on HBO Max.
Army of Darkness?
The Dead.
Army of Darkness,
Dead.
Army of the Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've, those have been my zombies experience for the last, few years. I'm like, well, okay, maybe I didn't give zombies a fair chance. Maybe I didn't give them a fair shake. They're pretty good movies.
Y'all have at it.
So, yeah.
Enjoy
I
yourself.
don't mind them. But the animated one is a little weirder. The Marvel zombies is weird. I think this is catering to a specific crowd because there are some people who absolutely love everything there is about zombies. One of my friends, her brother, is one of these cosplay zombie guys, and he actually has been in a few actual
like
films.
Zombie cons and horror
cons.
cons.
Like he's really, really good at it. Like really, really good at it. But people who are into it are really, really into it. So maybe it seems like something they're catering to that crowd, which is fine because you advertise, you're trying to sell, you're trying to get people to like this stuff.
Well, each of their own. Everybody has their own interests. I mean, why not? It's.
I imagine it's going to draw off the storyline in What If. It would have to, right? Why create a new storyline? Of course, you can create a new storyline. Why not?
I mean, I guess if you could tell that whole story potentially if you took your time right, you could Walking Dead that whole entire story.
Yeah.
So whenever he went to the quantum realm, tell like the first half of the first season is him trying to go back and save her. I mean, you could do this, but I'm not going to do it for him.
Not cut the check. That's right. Cut the check first, then I'll do it for you. What else?
Got Spider-Man freshman year, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even look a whole lot at it. I'm kind of like Spider-Man'd out with all of the people that are doing. Every last thing you hear is No Way Home, and I mean, the fights between the Spider-Man, and I'm like, you guys are really taking this whole Spider-Man point and the Spider-Man gift thing like really serious. Like you guys need to really just
like
dial it back. Wait for the movie to come out, and then just go watch the movie. And then if you don't like it, talk all your crap.
Look, can I be honest with you about Spider-Man? Okay, he's probably my favorite Marvel character. Loved drawing him when I was younger. Don't read as much of it now as I used to. Actually, I don't really read any storylines. I just picked up a Spider-Man storyline the other day. Sinister War. I'm going to start reading.
Nice.
Here's the thing with Spider-Man movies. I've never seen one I didn't enjoy. Okay, like, yes, there are some that are better than others. There are some bad parts to each one of them, but people shit on some of these movies. There's never one that I'm watching that after I got done, I was like, damn, I'm upset that I wasted my time watching that, or that if it was on, I would turn off because I just didn't want to see it. Like, I just enjoy Spider-Man stories. Now, and Spider-Man's one of those ones you can just give it all to me. Like, and it looks like we're going to get all that in here. And I am tired of hearing people talk about what's going to happen with it. I just want to see it. That's why I'm not getting wrapped up in the news and everything else. I see all kinds of crap every day. I'm just like, whatever. Just give me Spider-Man. Like, if I can get Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland all in a movie together, awesome. If not, give me an awesome Spider-Man movie. Like, that's all I want. I don't care. So Spider-Man for me is never disappointed. No matter what version of him you give it to me in, like, I just like Spider-Man.
I don't know why some people have different problems with different Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's truly what the problem is. I don't know if that's like the underlying issue here or not, or if people just want to be internet famous. But I just want the movie to come out.
That could be a lot to do with it. Yeah.
We don't have a trailer beyond what we already have. We don't have anything else to go off of. So yeah, people are just clamoring. I'm like, well, first off, no one owes you anything. So deal with that.
I actually watched the look, Wally Boots didn't know, X-Men 97. Yep, we were just talking about that, man. Continue Nine's animated series, yes sir. I saw the trailer for Spider-Man. I saw an announcement for the trailer for Spider-Man, and I guess it's been so long since I saw it when it came out. I don't know how long ago it was, but just in my memory, I have a goldfish mind. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, cool. Disney Plus Day, the new Spider-Man trailer. So I started playing, and I was like, I've seen this before. Got about 20 seconds into it. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. So yeah. Do you need another trailer?
I just want to see the damn movie. Just give me the damn movie.
I'm the same way. I don't need another trailer.
Just give me the damn movie.
I have an idea of what the movie's about.
I just want to see the damn movie.
Yes. That's exactly what it is for me too. I have questions, but all the questions that I have, I'm sure are going to be answered in the movie. And I think this movie right here is going to be the big jumping off point for where Marvel goes next. Like, this is what's going to be what lights the.
It's got the hands in it, man.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Mm-hmm. Like, people love Spider-Man, no matter they're gonna go see it, no matter who their Spider-Man is. So they're literally just need to hold their hand out to get all the money.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because with these movies, people watch these movies ironically, or they say they do, and people watch them. People hate watch these movies. Like people will watch movies like this just to hate on it. And it's like, well, guess what? You didn't win because they got your money. Like I hate to tell you, you think you win, but you didn't win. Like as long as they sell one ticket to you, they've accomplished their goal. You know. So, but yeah, Spider-Man, ready for it. Give it to me. So, what's next, man?
You got an I Am Groot animated series coming. I mean, I would assume that that's probably going to try to appeal to a little bit younger because it seems to be Baby Groot. I mean, unless they're gonna. I mean, it's Disney, so they can't make a TVMA show about Groot acting a fool.
Right. I want a teenage Groot show. You know, where you find them in there.
Subtitles.
Right. Find them in there making wood. You know, in his bedroom.
It's going to make a joke like you could just go watch Stargirl and get all those arguments.
Yeah. I don't. Man, this is once again a show that I don't need. But I've said that about a few Marvel shows, and they end up being really good. I don't think this one's going to be really geared to us, though. Like you said, I think it's going to be more geared to a younger crowd. But you know, when you've got all the money in the world, you can throw anything at the wall and make a movie out of it. Hell, they're making
whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever the hell you want to whenever you're rich. So Sheba, in you, hear me. Or do whatever you want to whenever you're rich. So if you're not invested in Sheba in you, I'm not a financial advisor, but check it out. So, just saying. Anyway, what else, man?
You gotta make sure you get your disclaimers.
Yes. I'm not a financial advisor. Exactly. Just having fun. So speaking of shows that I don't really need or necessarily want, the Agatha show. Shows like this, like the Groot show and the Agatha, seems like Marvel just kind of stretching its little fingers out a little too far, you know. But once again, I may love it. Of all the shows that MCU came out with this year, WandaVision was in the lower half, you know, of the 4 shows for me.
I think the Agatha one, I think it's got potential.
Yeah,
I think it might have potential to like kind of hold my.
I like that actress. I love that actress. So
it turned out to be a really cool character too. So yeah. But there's more to that character as well. So I mean, I'm curious to see how far they're gonna, take it.
Well, is she going to be in the movies? Like, I know obviously she's connected the storyline, but is this going to be a character that you see as a cameo or an appearance or an actual villain in the movies? We don't know. She may be a hero. For all we know.
I think what Disney is also doing is, and I'll borrow like one of their like Marvel things, like in Iron Man when he has a bomb or a missile that goes and shoots off in the air, and then like it turns into like a bunch of little ones. That's what Disney's doing right now. Mm-hmm. They're just basically
they're Jericho missiling it right now.
They're just trying to capitalize on the popularity. I mean, that's
I mean, why not?
Their own content. They need more. There's only a
shotgun method, buckshot method, right?
Well, you got different fans that are different, interested in, different characters. Not everybody is, like for the main, I don't want to say mainstream, but, the Avengers that we've known throughout the MCU. So, somebody is watching WandaVision. I thought Agatha, that was an interesting character. You want to learn more about. Now, I'm not really sold on the I Am Groot. I mean, I don't really know how. I'm kind of interested to see how far they can really go with this one, but. I mean, everybody has different interests, and like you said, you're just kind of just developing these shows. You can always have just the one season. You don't necessarily have to have the 2, 3, or 4. So just kind of throw it a while, see what sticks. Who's interested in it.
Yeah. Well,
I liked WandaVision. That was one of. I think WandaVision was my favorite. I mean, Loki was really good, but the two of them, like, I loved what they did, but I loved a lot more than just a story. Mm-hmm. I loved all the shots, the creativity that went into it. I mean, knowing that they pumped out like each of those episodes like out in a week, literally like filming them, like however many days it took. Mm-hmm. But I mean, even me, like I'm not like super duper ecstatic about Agatha, but I am interested to watch a show. And
I'm gonna watch that one.
Do it over I Am Groot. So
Well, once again, we fall into this category of whatever Marvel puts out there right now. They're kind of flawless at the moment, so we're going to trust them until they give us a reason not to. What they're doing is interesting because, like you said, Sarah, that before they had the characters, the Avengers, the Iron Man, the ones that people knew more. Now they're trying to get you into a different realm of characters. And this is the argument that the hill that I've stood on since the beginning of time with MCU homers. Don't get me wrong, I love MCU, but they're always talking about, yeah, you see what MCU do? They took C and D characters and they made them into the biggest characters in the world. Bullshit. They say, oh, well, X-Men and Spider-Man were the big characters in Marvel. That's what, and DC took the Avengers were the first team up in Marvel itself in comic book writing. Okay, they're one of the oldest group of characters in the storyline, and I guarantee you can go up to anybody who knows almost nothing about a comic book and ask them who is Rogue, and to point out who Rogue is, and to point out who Captain America is, or Hulk, or Iron Man, or Thor, and they can do that before they can point out 9 out of 10 X-Men. So please, I'm so tired of hearing people say that Marvel took C and D list characters and made them into superstars. No, they were some of their A-list characters. They were the last group of A-list characters that Marvel had because they almost went bankrupt and sold all the rights to their characters a few years ago. And I mean, I'm not lying, that's what happened. But they were still A-list characters. They were the OGs of Marvel. Like, anybody who doesn't know Marvel has heard of Iron Man, knows who Iron Man is. You've heard of the Incredible Hulk, whether you've ever read a comic or not. You've heard of the Incredible Hulk. So I get so tired of hearing that. What they're doing now is they're taking C-list characters, newer characters, because people don't read comics as much anymore, and they're bringing them to the limelight. So when they do this and become more successful, I'm very impressed with what they've done, but I'll be way more impressed with that as well, which I think they have the complete ability to do. They can do this. I'm not saying they can't do it, but this is a situation where they're taking C and D list characters and they're bringing them to the forefront. The Avengers was not. Okay, I am a comic book reader. Okay, I am more than the average fan, but I am nowhere near on the level of some people like Clay or Chris Balga or Brent or any of those people, But I knew all the stories they were going with the Avengers storyline, all the way up to it. I knew where they did wrong with it. I knew the stories they were tying into it. I know the average person wouldn't. And that's how I know these characters were not C and D list characters. It just irritates me so bad to hear that. But they are doing that now. I think they're going to be successful. That's my rant. Yeah, I had a rant. I wrote it down. I was like C- rant. So, yeah, stop talking about that Marvel. Let's see.
I'm an enjoyer.
Yes, I enjoy all of it.
Put it on the screen.
Yeah.
I don't care. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, oh well.
Then you won't watch it again, right?
And that's why you do not engage. If you don't like something, just keep swiping.
That's kind of why I've gone away from social media, man. It's so hard not to engage with some people. It really, really is, because, keyboard bullies, internet bullies.
It's that scene from Parks and Rec, and it's Ben Wyatt saying, I don't have time to tell you how wrong you are. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you know what? I have to. It's going to bother me if I don't.
Nathan says the Agatha show feels like Disney is so drunk on their semen they think they'll eat up anything they blow out. People eat up anything they blow out. And you know what, Nathan, you're right. They probably do feel like that, but it's true. I mean, it's true. 90% of people who are into this are going to watch every single thing they put out, myself included, because it's good. The majority of it. I have my issues with some things. Yeah, I have my issues, but most of it's good.
I watch a lot of shows these shows will easily take its place.
Yeah. He says they're having a hard time selling the Hawkeye show. As far as I know, not even all the diehard MCU fans are selling the show. Look, I'm not sold on the Hawkeye show either, but I'm going to watch it, and it could be the same way with the Loki show or the What If, where okay, it might be pretty cool, and after I watch it, I really, really enjoy it. They have me sold enough to get me my foot in the door. And once that happens, then they can take me anywhere. After a few episodes, if I don't like it, I don't have to watch it again. But I think you're right. I don't hear people clamoring for the Hawkeye show, Nathan, but I think that it's going to be a success. I think people like the character. I think they like the actor. I would have liked to have seen more of him in the Avengers story, but it's Hawkeye. Nobody calls for Hawkeye when you've got Thor and Captain America and Hulk and everything. I get that.
So now they're changing it. I mean, they're going to give him a little bit of a story. They're going to give him some, a character to usher on, and they're pulling the Echo character out and making an Echo show. I can't remember the actor's name that's playing Echo. But either way, I mean, they're continuing like to branch out this whole little small window that is Hawkeye. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, like I said, because I'm gonna watch all of it. But at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, there's tons of things that I watch that I'd probably rather just watch like a Marvel show. I mean, just something that has like something that connects to something else I watch. People watch those. I mean, like if you get on CSI, you watch like all the CSIs. If you get on,
Oh yeah, you had
was it
Vegas, you had
Chicago
Miami,
now,
you
or
had, like they got a
no, I mean,
CSI Hawaii now. I'm like, where
I
does
want
that
to see a
even come
CSI
from?
Charlotte. People
But-
with cops running around segways and all that stuff.
like with those Chicago shows, you have like PD and fire and
But then you have all
like
those
ER.
crossovers.
Yeah,
See, that
exactly. I mean,
sets up crossovers.
that's what they do. And so, I mean, like with Marvel, I mean, the whole thing's just a giant crossover. So,
Which, by the way,
hopefully,
now
I
that
don't
you
know,
mentioned
shit.
that Chicago fire and everything, one of the funniest jokes that CW did that I really, really enjoyed was there was one episode, it was a crossover episode, and towards the end of Arrow, where they brought everybody together, like, and you saw every character that had ever been on the show, and I think it might have been the finale or it was somewhere around there, and they were talking about Tommy, and they were like, "Oh, Tommy couldn't make it," and they're like, "Oh, he's a fireman in Chicago now, and he's the guy who plays on Chicago Fire." Like he actually plays on that show, and I was like, "Oh, that was a cool, funny little joke they did right there. I like that." So pretty cool. I like when shows do stuff like that, little fourth wall break stuff.
Hidden gems.
Okay, what's next, man?
Let's see. You're getting Loki season 2. You're getting the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. You're getting the Agatha show, the Echo show.
The
What
holiday
about Secret
special.
Invasion?
I'm just working my way down.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the holiday special real quick before we get past it. Parody, little comedy, funny thing. I imagine it's gonna be like a Star Wars holiday special, something like that. Just silly.
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you, like, I wouldn't mind more of the way the Endgame ended with the Guardians. So, I mean, like, if they're going to show, like, whatever kind of special with them all, I mean, you can't go overboard with them picking on each other because Drax will get old pretty quick. But I think you could do it.
Well,
be a nice little, like, leap over to the next movie.
Yeah, well, the important thing is, though, I think if you're going to have a holiday special and you're going to label it as a holiday special, it doesn't need to be something that progresses your storyline. I think it needs to be something you're aiming towards people wanting to play every Christmas. Like every Christmas, let's watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I think that's more what they're
saying
doing
like its main mission would have to be that. Okay. I'm just saying that like you could use it as that. I mean, like, like all those Star Wars Lego things. I mean, they're all just random stories and callbacks and like things that you could probably pick up. Like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're into those, then you could watch them every Christmas or Halloween or whatever. Like, they don't tell any true story.
Right.
I'm not saying that this one has to. I'm just saying, like, why not throw something in there that would be like, hey, now you can, wet your beak a little bit, wait for the next one to come out, and however long that one is.
Well, they could also have it very, very like loosely tied to the universe, and then use the universe like later in the movies or other shows to refer back to that moment, like something in this, as opposed to having it allude to something in the future with other shows. Them call back to that. I mean, yeah, I guess they could. So that one time on Christmas when Star-Lord did that. So I guess they could
stuck his tongue to a pole.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Oh, so Sarah, you got excited about Secret Invasion?
Well, I mean, that's just it's premise. I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, that's probably another one I'd probably watch. I don't really know too much about it, but I mean, it's it's got Fury.
Did you see that picture of Samuel L? Yeah,
without the eye patch.
Yeah, with the beard.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Secret Invasion storyline. That's one that I actually have down there. Like all of the main storyline I have, and I have a lot of the tie-ins. This is a like breaking point in the Marvel universe. It really, really is. It's an Infinity Gauntlet. It's what DC would call a crisis event. Anytime you hear the word crisis in DC, it's universe changing. This is one of those moments, in MCU, which was why I was wondering if they were ever going to get to this, and it's something that I wish they would have saved for the movies. But maybe they're going to tell the story in the movie or in the shows to give the aftermath in the movies or whatever. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but really interesting story. If you've never gotten into Secret Invasion, and there's a ton of stuff. I mean, it goes everywhere. Every single character there is in the story. There's 25 different books, a storybook of this character and their tie into this story. Like, it's insane. You could, I know you could read all of it, but I never could collect all of it and read all of it. But it's a fun storyline. Once
You can
again,
talk about it when the show comes on.
yeah,
Bring
I'm
your
definitely going
knowledge.
to. In fact, I think I might go back now that it's come out and just reread the whole thing, just to have a good time with it.
Wait till it's a little bit closer.
Yeah, well, I could always reread it. I mean, I could probably run through the whole thing in a very short amount of time. So it's a book of pictures with very few words on every page. So pretty sure I got it. I don't know. If I'm not, then my North Carolina education is failing me, which wouldn't surprise me either. So,
From what I read, this is supposed to be a Captain Marvel prequel.
okay.
So I don't know. Or a prequel to Captain Marvel. Let me put it that way. I think that doesn't make sense either because he's got his eye scratched at the end of it. I don't know. I guess the new Captain Marvel? Or maybe I just read something completely wrong.
When you start doing Captain Marvel and you start worrying about time travel, I don't know anything about being tied to Captain Marvel. I haven't read a lot of it. I know that in the comic book world, the Secret Invasion has a lot to do with actual Civil War. They skimmed over Civil War in this series, and they used just the kind of the word Civil War of heroes fighting heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very loosely based on the comic, like not that. And I'm sure somebody's pounding their fist in the desk right now, talking about how wrong I am, and I probably am because I'm not familiar with every aspect of that story. But as far as I understand it, they didn't really touch on that a lot, which is why it's funny they're doing Secret Invasion because the two tie into each other so well. But yeah, I mean,
that goes back to your earlier point, though, like them trying to tell too small a story too fast.
Yeah, that could be it, and that could be what they've done. I think what Marvel did was they took a lot of like big storylines, with these characters. They put them together and loosely tied them together. Did a good job of it, and then they brought it into the Infinity War saga, which is great. They did a good job with it. But once again, I've laid the theory out there. I think they're going a little different this time, so we'll see what happens. But what else is out there, man?
You got, I knew Ironheart was coming out. That was like another live action show they were talking about.
Sorry, which live action show?
Ironheart show.
Ironheart, okay.
Yeah, we knew like who the actress was going to be. We knew everything, so it wasn't really like any news. I don't know if there's anything else that came out with it, but I didn't see anything. And then you got the Hawkeye 4-minute clip, which is like half of it was like the car chase scene. I think there's just something else. I mean, like Nathan was saying, I don't know if they were trying to sell it or not, but it was a 4-minute clip just to give you like a little behind the scenes of like the next thing that's coming out. Mm-hmm. That and the fact that we got Shang-Chi on Disney Plus today, and I'll probably watch it Sunday.
Ooh, yeah, there we go. There's my movie for the weekend. I'll probably watch that tomorrow.
Probably watching that tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, hey, if we all get to watch it this week, we'll cover it next week. How's that sound?
Yeah, because the boys have seen it, but us girls, we haven't, so.
By the way, speaking of movies we got to cover, we got to get started on The Matrix pretty soon because it's coming very close to Matrix 4 coming out, which I saw the preview actually in theaters that I've already seen the preview for, but seeing it in theaters made it even cooler. Because it made me remember seeing The Matrix in theaters, and I was like,
Did you see the Batman trailer on the theater?
No, they didn't do the Batman trailer for the My Hero Academia. They did it was 3 trailers, and 2 of them I really enjoyed, and I've already seen all of them. But I was like, oh man, it's so cool to see this big screen. I can't remember what the second one is now.
Dude, you will like lose your mind when you see like the Batman trailer on
I bet so.
Big screen.
As a person who was not a fan of I wasn't a fan of the Pattinson suit. I didn't mind the casting. I didn't mind the director. I didn't mind the storyline they were going with, anything. I wasn't a fan of the Pattinson suit. I'll be clear with that. I am insanely impressed with where this is going from what I've seen so far. I had to remind myself that the pre-production pictures that weren't finished of the suit that I'd seen were not the way the suit was going to look. And there are still some issues I have with it. Obviously, I'm not a big armored suit guy, but if you make it fit in the story, then it works for me.
Greg, you got to trust the process.
Well, no, I'm not yeah, I am not a 76ers fan. Like, that's their theory. Trust the process. And it hadn't worked, Ben Simmons. How you working out? But I'm sorry. Anyway, where was I going with this?
I'm talking about the bat suit.
I lost my. Oh yeah, bat suit. Batman looks awesome. That's all there is to it. Batman looks awesome.
The end.
There's that squirrel.
So that's most of all the Marvel news. There might have been some other stuff, but once again, they should have had like a better platform to launch all the information.
Yep.
You do have the Star Wars stuff. Well, I guess Lucasfilm, really. We got the Under the Helmet show that came out, which is like a 20-something minute thing.
I
on
watched
Boba
that
Fett.
tonight. I watched that
Me
before
too.
this. I thought I like that. I like
a
that.
lot more interesting than I thought I was going to. Yep.
Yes. It was interesting. Very interesting.
You got plenty. I don't like watching a whole lot of like seriously long documentaries because I feel like they kind of outweigh themselves with like how much they're trying to dramatize it versus like the interviews that they have come in and people talk. Sometimes it's too much and not enough. Maybe it's just because I'm a Star Wars fan, but I ate the shit up. I loved it. So for 20 minutes, I was just sitting there watching the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier this morning, before the whole thing started, yeah, there you go. I was gonna say you got the big dump of all the Obi-Wan stuff. So,
Oh yeah,
which wasn't like a big dump on it, but there's quite a bit of what you got. I guess the behind the scene interview was pretty much what you got out of it, and you got all like different types of artwork and scene. And I mean, there's one with Vader and his castle. I mean, I think that one's the one that stood out to me the most. But once again, like I only watched it. I think I watched that one twice actually. But good little trailer. Did you guys see it?
Did
I
not
didn't catch that one.
No, but I'm gonna definitely going to pull it up here in a second. Nathan says that sounds dirty under the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we roll. This picture is amazing. Of course, obviously it's concept art, so but very similar to imagine what a battle would look like. So I guess this answers the question of if they've ever battled each other before. Like obviously in New Hope wasn't the first time, or the first time since Obi-Wan fucked him up. I'm wondering how bad Obi-Wan's going to fuck him up on this one because, sorry, Vader, you just can't hang with Obi-Wan, dude. That's all there is to it. He's the baddest Jedi in the fucking universe. I don't care what everybody says, man. He's the chosen one. He's the one who brought balance to the Force. Like,
he is good.
I can make this argument, but I'm not going to. Not right now.
They did a fantastic job backwards casting that role. Yes. I mean, when you bring in, a knighted actor at the very beginning, of the whole entire franchise, and the next thing you know, they bring in Ian McGregor. I mean, that dude just tears it up.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of like the hair and choices and stuff because sometimes he looks really weird throughout those movies. But I mean, like his character, like the acting, loved it.
Oh, I can get over the hair and stuff. He is the best casting of the newer movies, like the best of the prequels. I say, by far the best casting. So.
We were talking on Prodigy, talking about hoping that like characters mature. I think that's what we were talking about. But I mean, like if Hayden matures, like with the flashback or however they're going to use him in the Ahsoka show, I mean, I'm down for that.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. Like the idea of having Hayden Christensen in the Ahsoka show, be it however it is, and I'm assuming it's probably going to be flashbacks. It worries me a little bit, simply because I don't particularly like Hayden Christensen in that role. He didn't do a terrible job, and as I've watched him more and I've grown into him being the Anakin, it's grown more on me. There's just certain things about him in that role that I'm just like, but I feel like that with Padme too. Like I don't think that Natalie Portman was a great pick for that role.
The greatest thing that Natalie Portman has ever given us has been the Saturday Night Live Natalie Raps.
I've never seen that. I'll check it out.
You never seen those?
Oh no, I'll check it out.
Well, see, because of Natalie Portman, I'm not big on the Thor Love and Thunder or whatever the hell it is.
I don't really like her as Jane either. Yeah, I don't know why.
I think I like Jane in What If better than the actual live action.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't that one.
I don't know what it is. I know Nathan's mad at me right now. That's his baby. She's beautiful. She's a good actress. I just in those roles, I just don't see her play. I think I see her playing Jane better than Padme, to be honest with you. Maybe it was just the writing. Maybe it was the directing. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not the actress at all. But those two characters for me, and it worries me in the Ahsoka show. If he's gonna pull me out of it with some kind of terrible "Hey Joe" acting or something like that, I don't know. We'll see. what happens.
See what it sounds like behind the mask.
Yeah. So, I guess
Under
that's
the
a good
helmet.
point. He can't make those weird faces or sound very strange if he's behind the mask, because at this point he's got to be behind the mask. So
the man acted with his face quite a bit. It just wasn't a look that we wanted to see.
Right, yeah. Facial expressions weren't the best.
Yeah.
What else, man? Anything about the Boba Fett series? I mean, nothing we didn't know,
No.
right?
No, you got the Boba Fett show. You got that real short little show, which was really good. You're getting a Willow show for all the Willow fans out there in the world.
I saw that. I was like, I didn't really dive too much in it, but I was like, what?
Well,
it makes me want to go back and watch the movie because I do remember loving the movie when I was younger. But
I did watch it like 3 years ago, maybe.
Really? Okay.
Like when it was on Disney Plus.
Does it hold up?
You're so focused on the fact that Val Kilmer looks the way that he does,
right?
That you kind of just get lost in it.
I hear you. Yeah, like I said, it's one that I remember, and I remember watching it and enjoying it when I was younger, but I don't remember like anything really about it. There was somebody that we went to school with, Ross, and he used to always say Willow all the time. It was Willow, but I can't remember who it was. He used to say it.
Oh, God,
that's like what I can remember the most about Willow. I want to say Will Beeson, but I'm not sure.
It turned into a thing.
Yeah.
Beyond
it'll be interesting. I'll check it out. It'll make me watch the old.
Did you ever watch the? These are just extras that I put down because I found them interesting. Did you ever watch the Chip and Dale cartoon?
Yes.
Rescue Rangers?
And the video game is awesome. So that's one of the best Nintendo games ever.
You're getting a hybrid show that's going to come out probably like a.
It's like CGI live action, kind of like the movies are.
Yeah, some sort of whatever combination. But you're getting that. But you get John Mulaney and Andy Samberg playing Chip and Dale.
That'll be fun. So. Yeah. Okay. And what's funny is if you're going to put those two in a Chip and Dale show, you would think it sounds like a parody they would do, and not for kids. So just based on. Yeah, that'll be fun, man. That game is really fun. I have that Nintendo system. It's the emulator, and it has like 600 games on it. Did you know Mario in other countries has like Mario 16 on Nintendo? I played Mario 14 the other day. It's a Japanese version of Mario. Really fun. Mario can do some pretty cool shit, man. He's got like a sweep kick, and he can like rush, and he's got a samurai sword, and he can do all kinds of cool stuff. You can bounce on the sword. It took me a little while to figure out all the moves he could do, but I was like, holy shit. I was like,
this is just not good enough? We don't get all those?
I had to see what Mario 14 was about. You can throw ninja stars. Like I was like, wow, this is pretty. He's got like a black and white robe on. I was like, wow, Mario. Okay.
You gonna piss off my boyfriend? Upgrade. Sounds like you got an upgrade.
I mean, I figured I've already mastered one of the best games ever made in Super Mario Brothers 3. But yeah, so I had to try something else.
Shake your tail feather.
One of the best games ever. It's always replayable. And I could play that game for hours and hours and hours. Like,
you get Hocus Pocus 2, which I thought was really
Bette
weird.
Midler's in it too, right? Yeah.
What's that?
Bette Midler's in that, right?
I'm assuming they're bringing back what they can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I read. That'll be interesting because, once again, that's a movie from my childhood that I remember very well. My kids actually watched that the other day. They enjoy that movie. My wife loves that movie. It's one of those stupid, funny movies from my childhood that I'll always remember. It reminds
me of like Ernest and like all those things that we used to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that you should see in your life at some point in time. It's not like a you have to go watch it right now, but at some point in time you should have seen this movie.
Pull it off the $1 VHS rental rack and just grab it and watch it.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, Coneheads, Tommy Boy. Come on, there's stuff like that. At some point in time you should have seen this movie. So
I mean, that's really pretty much like all I really cared about.
I hear. Yeah, it was funny because after I got through the Star Wars and the Marvel stuff, there was like 15 like other things that they talked about, and the only thing that I really picked out of that was the Hocus Pocus and the Chip and Dales, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's all I.
They had Pixar. They had
there's like a Baymax movie or show coming out.
Let's see what else. Was it like some live action stuff? Was it like live action Pinocchio?
I did see something about Pinocchio.
If it was live action. I just skipped right over that.
Because I think it starred Tom Hanks, if I'm not mistaken.
I did see Tom Hanks' name attached to it. I believe he's supposed to play Geppetto.
Oh, well, if he's in it, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's supposed to voice Geppetto or if he's supposed to play Geppetto.
Doesn't
It
matter.
seems
I've
like I
watched
saw
Toy
another
Story.
one. It was like a Tiana movie, which that's from the Princess and the Frog.
Yes, and I heard that movie is gonna be like The Matrix. Like it was like the description I read of it was like a combination of like The Matrix and something else, and I was like, oh, interesting. So it's like disguised as like by name and what you would think. It's not gonna be anything like that. Like could be very interesting.
In the series, Tiana sets off for a grand new adventure as the newly crowned Princess of Moldonia.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I had something up that had all the stuff on it that I was looking at.
I don't know
I
what
mean,
any of
like I
this
said,
stuff
there's
is.
like just some of the stuff that like just kind of stuck in my head for right now.
Mhm. But yeah,
I did see people making jokes because they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make another Cars movie. Fantastic! How about you do some original content?"
But you know what? Kids eat that shit up, man.
They do.
So
It's each one's for another generation.
You got to remember when you bring Disney to the equation, they're
Ciao.
gonna have a lot of kid stuff because that's what Disney. That's where they make their bread and butter. That's where they make their money. You know, the Disney Channel is a kids channel.
Oh, they're gonna have a little
Same
Baymax
people
show too.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Which Big Hero 6 was okay.
I don't know if I ever watched it.
I had kids
It's
in that age
It's
group
cute.
when that movie came out, so I'd watched it. But it's an okay movie. I mean, all these Pixar movies are pretty good, so they're fun. They're enjoyable. They make them good or like enjoyable for the parents too. That the kids maybe wouldn't understand or maybe goes a little over their head.
Yeah, they kind of put some adult. I don't want to say adult themes, but some adult things where it'll kind of go right over the kids' heads, and you're like, oh, I get that.
They do a really good job of that. It
We
makes
left
it
that
not so
nothing.
unbearable to go see a Pixar movie with the kids. Like I might enjoy that. Inside Out was one of those. It was like that. A lot of cool little things in there for adults.
So I'll tell you right now, reading about what it says about Pinocchio is that it combines live action and visual effects and stars Tom Hanks.
Meaning,
and
live action, more than likely Pinocchio will be computer animated.
It's probably going to be a jazzed up live action, whatever weirdness that they want to put into it. They make everything with gigantic TVs now. I understand what they're doing from like a technical standpoint. I just don't understand like how they're pumping out so much. I don't know how many people. Well, good example. Like I'll tell you, like this week I watched the Assembled show for the Black Widow. So it was like that hour like behind the scenes show. Like I put it on while I was doing some work earlier. I mean, there's thousands of people that work on these things. I mean, to turn around and put out a movie, but I mean, now you're going to turn around and start putting out all this stuff. I do it in a gigantic room. Apparently, like Industrial Art and Magic has like a whole Light and Magic, has like a whole new thing that's just happening with the way that they're filming. I don't know. Good for them and bringing technology because I love seeing stuff just coming out as fast as possible. But I don't know. There's no telling what kind of shot you're going to get from Pinocchio.
Oh yeah. Well, Marvel once again, not Marvel, DC, Disney does a good job of putting stuff of giving us stuff to watch. And here's the thing: is I agree with you. They fumbled the presentation. They fumbled getting it out there to people. But they're also one of these things that Disney could never advertise anything ever again, and just drop it on Disney Plus, and they'd be fine. And they know that, and that's why I'm sure they're not worried about it. So, regardless of if people know about it before it comes out, when it hits Disney Plus and they open it up and they're looking for something, they're like, oh shit, I'm gonna check this out, and it's gonna happen. Disney will make their money. There's no stopping some machines. Just not happening. You're not gonna stop Disney. You're not gonna stop Walmart. You're not gonna stop McDonald's. It's just not gonna happen. Sorry.
Just like whenever I go to Disney Plus, it's like I automatically go to the Star Wars section. I'm like, please, is there anything new Star Wars on here that I don't know about?
These companies make more money than like 70% of the countries in the world. Okay, like they're good. They're never going away. I promise you. So, but yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else Disney
actually?
Plus?
That's pretty much it. Disney Plus. I don't know what you guys watched this week. Did you watch that Finch movie?
No, because my stupid old smart TV does not get Apple Plus, so can't download Apple Plus on it, so I haven't purchased Apple Plus yet.
Yeah, I think I told you guys the other week that I think Brian started watching it. I only saw like the first few minutes of it, but then I gravitated towards something else. But
as soon as it was on, you get that whole like, is this Tom Hanks doing a Tom Hanks movie again, where it's just Tom Hanks? And
Like
it kind of is,
Castaway.
but it kind of is. But I mean, it's funny. Like, it's a pretty good movie. Yeah, I don't know what his thing is about.
Is it like Castaway with a robot and a dog?
Kind of, but it's
Yeah.
funny.
But
Like,
that's what you get. Yeah.
no, I mean, like, it was definitely heartfelt. It was a good balance of like all the things that I guess it had to be in order to succeed. But I mean, once again, the cinematography looked fantastic. You know, these shows look fantastic.
I'm trying to think, what did I watch this week other than the My Hero I watched yesterday? I watched, my wife turned on some movie, old Will Ferrell movie, Everything Must Go, older movie. I think it's like 10 years old. Never seen that before. It was interesting, I guess.
It's a weird movie.
It was a weird movie, yeah. Didn't really see a plot line or like a end point, no end game in the movie. It was just kind of like, you're here, this is what happens, and then
Man was on his lawn just drinking and selling shit. I mean, it reminded me, it's like, this is like depressed King of the Hill is what this is.
Yeah. I'll tell you one that I did watch recently, and I may have mentioned this before, the Downsizing movie with what's not Ben Affleck, but the other guy, his man friend, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon?
Yeah, with Matt Damon in it. You know what I'm talking about? The movie where they've developed a technology to be able to shrink you to like 5 inches.
The family
and it's
one.
supposed to save the world because, you know, an entire community can have like a thimble of trash for an entire week or something like that. Great concept. Really, actually a pretty good movie. You know, didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, but you know, it's Matt Damon. It's what he's one of those actors too. That you put him in a movie, and I'm probably going to enjoy it. You know, yeah, I saw that. I'm trying to think of anything else I watched this week, like new that I watched this week.
Like I said, my family, we're just watching The Middle. And what's so sad of it is when Brian and I watched it to begin with, I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Now I'm like, part of this is my life. Yeah. My son is Axel. I'm not gonna lie, it's Axel.
You texted that the other day, and I was like, what does she mean?
My kid, my son is going to grow up to be Axel, because especially when Axel goes, oh, that is Gage, 100%.
So yeah, I started the rewatch because, you know, we always have the fall asleep show, and I got to change that up every once in a while because I can't just fall asleep with the same show all the time. So we started a rewatch on My Name Is Earl, which, sorry y'all, if you haven't watched that show is fucking hilarious. I love My Name Is Earl, and it's so funny seeing Jason Lee in that role. And then like I listened to him, he has a distinctive voice and a distinctive look. And then I walk out in my living room and the kids are watching Alvin and the Chipmunks with Jason Lee in it, and he looks totally different. He's playing a totally different role. I'm like, this is weird, you know, but it shows you the range this guy has.
Is Joy, Jamie Presley? She's from Kinston. And so anytime I hear her talk, I'm like, that's Kinston right there. Something that actually came out of Kinston.
She didn't have to act very much for that one, right?
Yeah. No,
that's a great show, though. Seriously, if y'all have never seen My Name Is Earl, man, check that out. That is a hilarious show.
Yes.
Did I text you guys about Future Man?
I remember something about you saying something about Future Man, I think so, or somebody said something to me about it. Maybe it was somebody at work, I'm not sure, but talk to us about it.
I started watching that this week. I've seen the whole entire thing, and it's a real like off the wall. Like, I mean, you can tell by the first 2 episodes whether or not you're going to be into the show or not. But it's an old, well, it's not like super old, but it's come and gone. So I think there's like 4 seasons of it. Absolutely hilarious with some of the stuff that they do and say, but it is not a kid show, so do not watch it with kids.
Oh, I can tell just by the cast and looking it up. Yeah, it's definitely not a kid show.
Yeah.
It's got Seth Rogen in it. It's not a kid show. Like,
I
don't think he shows up until like the 3rd season. But
Haley Joel Osment, Jeff Beck. Yeah,
it's a funny show.
I know there's one series that I need to rewatch, and that is Chuck.
Oh, Chuck is so good.
Dude, I was in labor telling people, like, y'all need to move, turn that TV on because I've got to watch this because it came on Monday nights. I will never forget. I'm like, y'all need to move. I need to watch this. I don't care what's going on.
I never watched it live, I'll tell you that. But I'm telling you right now, being able to binge it was a real good time.
Oh, dude, every Monday night, man, I was there. Especially, I think I told you guys this one time, but Adam Baldwin, his character was John Casey. He finally said the one thing that I absolutely loved from Firefly that Jane Cobb said was, he's like, you're beginning to damage my calm. You know, something like that. And I will never forget, I screamed at Brian. I was like, Brian, he said it. Because I was like, I mean, you just had like little, like there was like a couple of tidbits of like Firefly in it. It's like, oh my God, it was so fantastic.
Now he's in Is he the one that's in? He's the one that's in Expanse.
Who, Adam Baldwin?
Yeah, one of the Baldwins. I'll check it out. But I mean, like,
Are we allowed to say Baldwin again?
well, I
Is
mean,
it too soon? All right. No, maybe it's
This is a different one, so
it's
it has
touchy when
no.
people say Baldwin. Yeah. Yeah. Shows. I got to think of something new. Well, I can't say.
Well, I'm excited because next Saturday, finally get to see the Ghostbusters.
That'll be fun.
So we've already got tickets to go see the theater, so I'm super excited. Yay.
I think that's something that I'm going to end up trying to see. Ross, if you end up seeing it, man, something we can cover on the show, that'd be really fun. But yeah, dude, we got so much stuff coming out. Like so much stuff coming out.
And then I'll be on the high watching Discovery too. So I mean, I'm just gonna be all over the place next week.
3 more episodes.
We do not have a lack of content. We are living at a good time to absorb a whole lot of content, and that's what we're
doing. Greg, it's a good time. It's a good time right now for everything.
Did I catch up on Foundation? No,
you weren't watching it, but
I never started Foundation.
Did you catch up, Sarah?
I have not. That's why I kind of told Ron the other day. I was like, we need to I forgot what episode we were on. But like I said, it was the one where it's kind of like switched up to where it's kind of moved forward. So I'm ready to jump back into it.
Yeah, it was good. Today's episode is really good.
Foundation. Check it out.
Yeah, it's cool. It's an interesting premise.
Well, I haven't never seen it yet. Yeah. I also got to think about what I want to get rid of to get Apple Plus. Not that Apple Plus is insanely expensive, but I do have a lot of shit that I don't watch anymore. Like, I know between my daughters and my wife, they might watch something. So I've got to really go through the list and find out what to get rid of because there's no need for me to be paying for every streaming service possible.
See, Discovery Plus is the only one I don't have. Pretty much have everything else but that.
Well, and you have Apple Plus?
I can get it for free, but I haven't signed up for it because I have no interest.
Talk to me after the show, Sarah. Because I have Discovery Plus.
I don't know what's on it. Like, did they combine? Is that the one they combined with the History Channel? No, wait.
Yes. I think so. Yes. Yeah.
So
I don't
History Channel.
I don't think
maybe they have Vikings. You can watch that. That's a fantastic show too.
I can't remember the reason why I got Discovery Plus, but I know that I personally never watched it, but there was some specific reason. I think it was something I wanted to watch. Yeah, I think that may have been what it was. It came with something. Maybe it came with CBS All Access is what it was. I can't remember. Or NBC. There was something that I got that maybe, I don't know. I've got so many I can't remember. Failed. But all right, well, y'all ready to get out of here? I got to be up at 3 a.m. It's busy time at the post office.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, I know. You know what though? I get paid overtime, so if I'm going to work 11, 12 hours a day, I'm going to reap the benefits of it. So
absolutely,
I'm not paying that bill, but they can give it to me. So all right, cool. Well, Ross, can they find you anywhere other than here?
No, sir.
All right, good deal. If you want to get a hold of Ross or ask him a question, hit me up and I'll try to relay that message. Sarah, where can they find you at?
You can find me on the Twitter at MyLadyKitten. That's about it for the time being.
And you can
I've been very vocal lately, so you can't miss me.
With the news that's happened, yes, I'd imagine. I've been I gotten away from Twitter quite a bit lately, but the last few days I've been putting out quite a few tweets.
It's been very happy. It's been very happy.
Yeah,
it's like I don't even pay attention to the naysayers. Been there, done that. Whatever. I'm not listening.
I don't know what it is, but I think my feed, because I've stopped interacting with people so much, is like all the negative stuff is gone from my feed. Because whenever I scroll through it, like there's nothing negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I'm not popular enough for people to hate my opinion anymore, which is I'm totally cool with that. Yeah, I just put it to people that I want to see it.
I hold my opinion for the important ones. I kind of like pick my battles. Otherwise, I'm like, you're stupid, and I'm just
like a time bomb, just like getting enraged every single time. And
there's always the moment right before I tweet something that might be controversial. Where I'm like, do I really want to do this? And I'm not gonna lie. Lately, it's been like,
or do you hit delete?
Yeah, lately it's been like, nah, I don't want to do this. Like, there's nothing good
not worth
it.
This.
It's not worth it. Because after I hit tweet right here, the only thing I want to see is likes and good replies. And if I tweet this, there's a good chance that I'm not going to get some of those. And I don't.
Now they have like the down era.
Yeah.
Dude, you got HBO Max. If you haven't seen that Monica Lewinsky special on like how all that like how the world can like mass against you, like for the cancel culture type thing. That's a pretty good watch too.
Really? Okay. I didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, wait a
I
second.
know, right? I was like, what? That's the name.
Like,
It's a
Monica
special.
Lewinsky?
You mouth hugs are half off.
Yeah. Does not leave stains. No, promise. All right. Well, you can find me at the Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. That's my personal handle. Also, check out at SCS Podcast 1 if you want to hit the show. I check that as try to do it daily, but sometimes I do slip up. We're here live every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we have to bump it to Saturday because guess what? We're people and we have lives, and sometimes things have to move. So, generally, every Friday night, audio drops Monday or Tuesday, depending on how lazy I feel that week, and on every podcatcher of your choice. Also, check me out at the C3 Panthers Podcast Sundays after games, live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube on Tuesdays. And then, maybe I'm going to get into a Madden simulation commentary. I, hopped on the Friday night free-for-all tonight. If you're a Panthers fan, it's a great time in your life right now. We have our quarterback back. Superman returns. And guess what? It's so perfect. They're wearing the black uniforms for his first game back. So how about that? Superman returns in the black suit. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it, baby, because this is like a comic book story right here. It really is with Cam Newton. I can't wait to see the resurrection of Superman. So, but that's my I open with sports, I end with sports. Folks, keep pounding. Till next week. Thank you. Subscribe, like, share with a friend, all that good stuff. And y'all, Doom Force.
Keep
Doom
pounding.
Force.
Yeah, Doom Force.